Only those from top forces could afford the mid-grade spirit stones. Yang Chen did not even have one. He and Jianhua could only enter the ancient battlefield by becoming a Luofu Kingdom employee. After many failed attempts, someone suddenly exclaimed, Dongfang Junyi from Luyun Valley has passed. Impossible. How did he do it? I can't believe Junyi actually succeeded. Yang Chen noticed a young man with a red birthmark on his left cheek. He was being led into the palace by a large, dark man. The second person to successfully pass the test was a middle-aged woman. She had an extraordinary aura and her cultivation level was at the 9th level of the heavenly harmony realm. Yang Chen gradually understood. Most of those who came for the test were disciples from third-class forces or some second-class disciples. There were definitely no disciples from the major first-class forces. It was Yang Chen and Jianhua's turn next. Jianhua nervously looked back. Bro, it would be embarrassing if we fail. Yang Chen smiled and gave Jianhua an encouraging look. Yang Chen believed that if Dongfang Junyi could pass, so could Jianhua. Jianhua stepped forward, standing in front of an old man with white hair. The old man said coldly, place your hand on the stone ball and inject a wisp of your spirit. Yang Chen doubted if it was a test of spiritual power. Jianhua placed his hand on the black stone ball and injected a wisp of his spirit. The black stone ball didn't react. Yang Chen was confused. Jianhua's spiritual sense is strong. The old man smiled. He said gently, young friend, you passed the test. Enter the palace. This black man is lucky, someone in the 5th stage actually passed. Luofu Kingdom's choices are confusing. This is a female-led force, and they have obvious bias. Many people behind Yang Chen and Jianhua were complaining. The old man released a terrifying aura. The old man was a near-transcendence realm expert. He showed the vast amount of his power. Choosing our employees is our kingdom's business. If you are willing to participate, then do so, and if you are not, leave. If anyone disturbs the order again, I will not be lenient. Seeing the old man's power, no one dared to complain anymore. Jianhua was led into the palace. Jianhua worried about his brother. Yang Chen stepped forward in front of the old man. The old man said, young friend, place your hand on the stone ball. Yang Chen nodded and placed his hand on the black stone ball and injected a wisp of his spirit. The moment his spirit touched the black stone ball, Yang Chen felt it disappear. Yang Chen noticed that the black ball shook slightly. The old man's voice trembled, his gaze fixed on Yang Chen. Where are you from, young friend? Yang Chen remained calm. He knew he had passed the test. Yang Chen smiled, Senior, I am Yang Chen from the Donghuang Jianzong. The old man was surprised. He then remembered. In the Far East, there was a small sect called the Donghuang Jianzong. The old man was stunned. How could a genius come from that desolate place? He is incredibly young, especially in the eastern continent. The old warden didn't know that Jidong had already opened the entrance to the Dongchuan mystic realm. Old yes words ignited the whole place. Did I hear right? That kid is from Jidong. I don't believe it. How could a genius emerge from a place like Jidong? It's a shame, being compared to a Jidong kid. I want to go to Jidong. The old warden didn't expect such a reaction. He scanned the crowd and ordered. Then, the old warden's guards led Yang Chen into the palace, and the test continued. Yang Chen, feeling a little smug, was surprised when he entered the palace. The palace was full of beautiful women, but they all had serious looks. These women were all at the celestial harmony level. It was incredible. Guided by a beautiful woman, Yang Chen passed through many corridors to the depths, and arrived at an ancient stone hall. Inside the hall, Yang Chen saw Jianhua and the other candidates. They were sitting with stone tables in front of them, each with items on top. Even more extravagant, there were beautiful women attending to each of them. Of course, Yang Chen got the same treatment. After being seated, Yang Chen saw Jianhua nodding at him. He was even more confused. Something was wrong. They were selected as mercenaries but were insignificant in front of the Luofu ancient kingdom. Why were they being treated so well? Something was wrong, they must be preparing something big. Yang Chen, being cautious, wasn't interested in the wine and food, and started to speculate. But even with all his thinking, he still couldn't figure it out. However, after seeing the others relaxing, Yang Chen also relaxed. Besides him and Jianhua, the others were all from third-rate cities. They must know something about the mercenaries. If they were relaxed, then Yang Chen would be too. Soon, other candidates who had passed the test entered the hall. Maybe because of the wait, the people inside the stone hall started to chat. It seemed that except for Yang Chen, the others were familiar with each other. From their conversation, Yang Chen's relaxed heart became tense again. They said that the ancient battlefield beneath the Luofu ancient city was extremely dangerous. The mortality rate for mercenaries was very high. Before entering, mercenaries had to sign a strict contract with Luofu Kingdom, but the contents were unknown. It was obvious that Luofu Kingdom's purpose for hiring them wasn't pure. Just as Yang Chen was becoming vigilant, a group of people entered the stone hall. Yang Chen was stunned when he saw the person leading them. The vigilance he had built up disappeared instantly. It was a silver-haired beauty. It was a different kind of beauty. Cold and aloof, like a goddess from an ice kingdom. Compared to her, Yang Chen felt he could accept Xianlingqi. At least she looked like a normal, beautiful person. This woman was like a sculpture, perfect, even to be placed on an altar. Not just Yang Chen, almost everyone was stunned. Jianhuo just glanced at her, then continued to eat his grilled meat, seemingly more interested in that than the beauty. Olju, who was in charge of the tests outside, was also following her. He scanned the crowd and said, "This is the princess of our ancient kingdom, and she will lead you into the ancient battlefield. As for the dangers, I believe you are all aware. After becoming our mercenaries, you are responsible for your own lives. The treasures and inheritances you obtain are yours, but you must assist the princess in obtaining an important treasure. If you have no questions, you can sign the contract now." Yang Chen was confused. While he was aware of the situation, and the ancient kingdom looked like it was forcing the issue, unlike the others, he and Jianhuo didn't know anything about the ancient battlefield. Couldn't they give them a brief introduction? Also, from their words, especially responsible for your own lives, it was clear that becoming a mercenary meant a high risk of death. But Yang Chen and Jianhuo didn't have a choice. They couldn't afford the 2,000 spirit stones for the entrance fee. Secondly, and more importantly, Yang Chen thought that after becoming a mercenary, Xinzuan couldn't do anything to them. Maybe there might be some benefits within the dangerous ancient battlefield. Everyone signed the contract without hesitation, becoming mercenaries of the ancient kingdom for this opening of the ancient battlefield. In less than half an hour, Yang Chen noticed that the silver-haired beauty, the princess, hadn't blinked once, nor had she said a single word. It was as if she was a god above all, and didn't bother with these mortals. After the princess left, the stone hall became even livelier. The third-rate forces that had become mercenaries were all chatting excitedly. It was as if seeing a god of Luofu kingdom was something to brag about for a lifetime. It was really not promising. Yang Chen thought about the princess. He wasn't admiring her, but more so surprised by the princess aura. The silver-haired beauty, probably around the same age as him and Jianhuo, had actually reached the celestial harmony realm. Compared to her, those so-called geniuses were just jokes. No wonder the cultivators from the Dongchuan forces looked down on those from the lower areas. The difference was too great. Yang Chen had no idea that in a palace not far away, the ancient kingdom's princess was entertaining 4 esteemed guests. Those 4 were, from the 7 great celestial sects, Xinzuan. Xinzuan didn't even look at the Luofu kingdom. In his eyes, the only ones he recognized were the other top talents from the other 3 great forces. However, he was still happy to meet the rumored ancient kingdom princess. The princess was so kind that it relieved the humiliation from the dragon vein divine machine. The arrogant Xinzuan decided to make a good impression on the clever princess Fushan Shan, but she didn't show it. "I wonder what brings you to our ancient city." Xinzuan laughed, and looked at Fushan Shan with a greedy glint in his eyes. "Although she is a princess, she is the future of the ancient kingdom, so I can't touch her. Princess, this time, I am here to fulfill my family's request. My family said that there is a precious sword in the ancient battlefield. I came here to try my luck. If I find it, it will be my responsibility as a descendant." Xinzuan spoke with a smooth tongue. Fushan Shan mocked in her heart. Couldn't you come up with a better excuse? However, she wasn't worried since she knew the dangers of the ancient battlefield. It was impossible for celestial harmony cultivators to obtain the spiritual tools protected by ancient spirits. And these ancient spirits were all under the control of Luofu, giving them a natural advantage. But even with that, the Luofu kingdom had failed to retrieve the treasure they wanted all these years. Therefore, it would be extremely difficult for outsiders like Xinzuan to obtain treasures and inheritances. It was very likely that they would lose their lives. The ancient spirits had all turned into demons. Fushan Shan smiled and said, "Then I hope young Master Xinzuan can achieve his goals in the ancient battlefield." Xinzuan smiled and suddenly changed the topic. "Princess, I've heard that your ancient kingdom has been unable to find the location of the great Luo Dao scripture." Fushan Shan, who had been calm, changed her expression. She didn't know how Xinzuan knew about such a secret. Was he hinting that the 7 great celestial sects wanted the great Luo Dao scripture? Fushan Shan was shocked. Such a secret was only known to the royal family. How did Xinzuan know? Actually, Fushan Shan didn't know that the information was just a guess from Xinzuan's elders. He was just trying to trick her. Xinzuan grinned. If he could obtain the great Luo Dao scripture, then things would be interesting. The Xinjia tribe had a secret. While the Luofu kingdom didn't know about the great Luo Dao scripture, Xinjia tribe did. A long time ago, Luofu was a powerful kingdom, not only controlling a large mineral vein, but also the overlord of Dongchuan. But for unknown reasons, all the elites of Luofu kingdom mysteriously disappeared. It was later revealed that the young generation of geniuses had discovered an underground temple in the first layer of the Dongchuan mystic realm. Unfortunately, for some reason, all of them died. As the inheritor, the princess held the great Luo Dao scripture. It was the core cultivation technique of Luo Fu, closely linked to their bloodline. Without the great Luo Dao scripture, Luo Fu kingdom had declined. They had withdrawn from the center of Dongchuan, becoming a second-rate force. Therefore, each generation of the kingdom master tried to retrieve the great Luo Dao scripture, but they had failed. Fu Shanshan quickly composed herself and said indifferently, "Young Master Xinzuan, I don't know where you heard this. The great Luo Dao scripture is not only a cultivation technique but also the foundation of our Luo Fu kingdom. How can it be in the ancient battlefield?" "That's a joke." Xinzuan chuckled, already having the answer he wanted. Fu Shanshan, no longer in the mood to continue, said with a hint of apology, "I have other matters to attend to. If you need anything, feel free to ask the maids." "Don't mention it," replied Xinzuan. Just as she left, Fu Shanshan became worried. Olju, who had been in the hall the whole time, had seen everything. "What should we do? The secret of the great Luo Dao scripture is now known by those big figures in Dongchuan. It will be very hard for them to get it if they want to. This is the first layer of the Dongchuan mystic realm. The strongest are only at the celestial river realm." "Don't worry." Fu Shanshan was still worried and asked. Xinzhuan's words were pointed. "I am worried that he came for the great Luo Dao scripture." Olju laughed. "So what if he came for the great Luo Dao scripture? How many people have tried to obtain the great Luo Dao scripture from our kingdom? Did any of them succeed? The great Luo Dao scripture is protected by ancestral spirits. We have already failed to get it. Outsiders will definitely fail." Hearing this, Fu Shanshan felt relieved. At dawn, the ancient city of Luofu shook, as if an earthquake had occurred. If you were on the streets, you could see the stone tiles shaking. Whether it was excitement or fear, all the cultivators in the city were energized. The entrance to the ancient battlefield beneath Luofu city had opened. Unfortunately, entering required a fee of spirit stones, which was too much for most cultivators. In the depths of the stone hall, surrounded by cultivators, the Luofu kingdom was even more heavily guarded. The guards in black armor surrounded the hall. These black-armored guards were all at the 9th level of the Celestial Harmony realm. In the first layer of the Dongchuan mystic realm, this power was terrifying. The hall was the entrance to the ancient battlefield. Outside the hall, Fu Shanshan was wearing a battlesuit. She looked like a female war god. Yang Chen and the other mercenaries were by her side. The Luofu kingdom did not open the entrance immediately. They had to wait for Fu Shanshan to enter first. Fu Shanshan looked at the mercenaries behind her and said in a cold tone, "The ancient battlefield is divided into 3 layers. You can move freely in the first 2 layers and find your own treasures. Everything you obtain is yours, but you must obey my orders in the 3rd layer." "Yes." Yang Chen and the others responded. From this, Yang Chen guessed that the treasure they were looking for must be on the 3rd layer. "Let's go." Following Old Yes' command, they entered the hall. The hall was empty except for a stone platform in the center. The stone platform was emitting a faint blue light. It was clearly the entrance to the ancient battlefield. Old Yu was the first to step onto the platform. He was Fu Shanshan's bodyguard and had to ensure her safety. Then, Fu Shanshan and her black-armored guards entered. When it was Yang Chen's turn, he felt a chill, as if a cold air had entered his body. But after checking, he didn't find anything. After a brief feeling of spatial distortion, Yang Chen felt his vision change. He was inside the ancient battlefield. It was a dark green color. He found that the people from Luofu Kingdom were already there. In front of them was a long tunnel. The ground and walls of the tunnel emitted a poisonous green light. The cold aura was stimulating everyone's senses. Was this long tunnel the first layer of the ancient battlefield? Not just Yang Chen, everyone was feeling it. Olju, standing in front, scanned the crowd and said, "This is the first layer of the ancient battlefield. This tunnel is called the Spirit Path. There are many natural caves on both sides of the Spirit Path. Each cave has ancient spirits. You need to gain their approval to obtain the treasures and inheritances inside." Olju became serious. "The first layer is not dangerous unless you seek death by provoking the ancient spirits." After saying that, Olju looked at the excited mercenaries and sneered. They were just ignorant cannon fodder. If the inheritances were easily obtained, Luofu Kingdom would have long regained its glory. Fu Shanshan looked at the mercenaries and said, "The ancient spirits in the caves are all corrupted by mysterious powers. They are unpredictable. It is best not to try. It will be dangerous." Unfortunately, Fu Shanshan's warning was not heeded, including Yang Chen and Jian Wuk. But Yang Chen didn't care because he knew that these ancient spirits were likely the remnants of Luofu's elites who had fallen here long ago. They were corrupted by some strange force. The ancient spirits were likely beings of pure energy, and Yang Chen's sacred true qi just happened to be their natural enemy. As for Jian Wuk, he had the demonic body. He could handle it. Hearing that the ancient battlefield wasn't too dangerous, the mercenaries became extremely excited. It seemed they had made the right choice joining this ancient kingdom. If they gained anything from the caves along the spirit path, they'd strike it rich. So, Yang Chen and the mercenaries began venturing onto the spirit path. Stepping onto the spirit path, Yang Chen noticed that the eerie green light emitted from the path was a unique kind of dark energy. Not only the spirit path, but the various caves along the sides were emitting this eerie green light. The spirit path was a challenge. Suddenly, a mercenary who just ventured towards the cave was blown away, falling into the opposite cliff. He rolled down silently. His fate was unknown. This scene made all the mercenaries stop in their tracks. What's going on? I thought there wasn't any danger. Right in front of the first cave, stood a humanoid figure made of flames. This fiery figure radiated a violent and chaotic aura. What's even more eerie was that this fiery figure was mixed with black energy. This must be what they called an ancient spirit. Just the pressure that the fiery spirit was emitting made all the mercenaries, including Yang Chen, take a deep breath. This is way too strong. Just by its pressure alone, we can hardly handle it. Could it be a child of a celestial lord? I thought beings from the celestial lord realm couldn't exist in the first level of this forbidden land. In fact, not only was this fiery spirit that strong, but the ancient spirits of the third level were just as strong. But because they were being controlled by a weird power, even cultivators at the celestial lord level couldn't defeat them. In this ancient battlefield, these terrifying ancient spirits were almost immortal. However, in the first level of the ancient battlefield where Yang Chen was, the ancient spirits were not as corrupted as the later levels. But they were still not easy for anyone in the heaven realm. Another mercenary on the spirit path glanced at the dead mercenary with no emotion. How foolish. Trying to act recklessly. Even those guarding this place had to be extremely careful when approaching a cave. They had to ask for permission and prove their strength in order to obtain a chance at receiving a legacy. Even then, they were rarely successful. Even though these spirits were once the descendants of the ancient kingdom and had memories of their past, they mostly rejected those seeking legacies. This was a reality check for the mercenaries. They had thought too simply, obtaining a treasure wasn't as easy as they imagined. Why don't you go try? The leading mercenary said to his black-armored soldiers. This was their job. These loyal guards of the ancient kingdom were the only ones who had a chance at obtaining a legacy. The black-armored guard in front had a serious face. He immediately went to the first cave, politely bowing to the fiery spirit. Great ancestor, I am a descendant of the ancient kingdom. May I try this challenge? But whether it was because he wasn't good enough or something else, the fiery spirit roared. You're wasting your time. The black-armored guard, unfazed, went to the second cave. Seeing this, Yang Chen understood how things worked here. The mercenaries then followed suit and went to the first cave, asking the fiery spirit for the chance to be tested. They went to the fire spirit, begging for the chance to be tested. But the fiery spirit had a terrible attitude. It would either insult them or curse at them. The guards moved forward as if they already had a set target in mind. Only Yang Chen and Jianwok remained still. Jianwok asked, Bro, should we try too? Of course. Yang Chen replied absent-mindedly. He had not been paying attention at all. He was thinking about an even deeper question. What exactly were these ancient spirits? More importantly, what kind of power was it that turned them into such incorporeal beings? How was it that it could turn a cultivator's soul into this form of energy being? It was mysterious and bizarre. He suspected that the ancient battlefield was hiding an even bigger secret unknown to the world. A moment later, Yang Chen and Jianwok arrived at the first cave. Jianwok was about to speak but Yang Chen stopped him. Yang Chen stepped forward and said to the fiery spirit at the cave, Senior, you must be in great pain to still possess some sense of self. What did you say, brat? Before Yang Chen could finish, the fiery spirit roared, emitting a dangerous aura as if it was about to attack. Ha ha ha. Yang Chen suddenly laughed. You're wallowing in pain, it would be better to just be free of it. Jianwok was confused. He didn't understand what Yang Chen was talking about. What was with this nonsense? Actually, Yang Chen himself wasn't sure what he was saying. These words had been taught to him by the spirit of the pagoda. In an instant, the fiery spirit was not calm anymore, its face twisted. It was clearly in immense pain. Seizing the opportunity, Yang Chen quickly rushed into the cave. Jianwok was dumbfounded. Bro, this is too risky. What if something happens? Let's go. Jianwok followed Yang Chen into the cave. The green glow inside the cave was even stronger, with strands of energy floating around. The only thing there was a long red blade. Yang Chen's eyes narrowed as the spirit told him it was nothing special. That battle blade is trash, just a high-grade Xian artifact. But Xian-grade artifacts are worth something. Although a little disappointed, Yang Chen quickly pocketed the battle blade and pulled Jianwok out. The fiery spirit was still in the same state of agony. It seems the caves aren't that good, Yang Chen said. We need to go deeper. Little luck. Yang Chen started venturing further into the spirit path. Those mercenaries who had failed to enter the caves were all stunned by the actions of Yang Chen and Jianwuk. Clearly, the closer to the entrance, the weaker the spirits were. These two, who were only at the 5th level, were either crazy or incredibly capable. What Yang Chen didn't expect was that the spirit path was so long. After some time, he still didn't see the end and he didn't see the guards either. Bro, how did you do that? Jianwuk asked quietly. Yang Chen just laughed. He himself had no idea. But now was the time to hurry. He had no time to ask the spirit. Let's go in there, Yang Chen said, pointing to a cave. Little Wuk, be careful, the best way to obtain treasure is sneakily. Try not to let others notice. Jianwuk nodded to show that he understood. When Yang Chen got close to this cave, an intense energy surged out. A figure formed by black mist appeared, the protector of the cave, the so-called ancient spirit. This spirit seemed to be heavily corrupted. Its strange cries were bone-chilling. Suddenly, Yang Chen heard the spirit say in his mind, Master, this thing is corrupted. Directly use your sacred true qi to purify it. Yang Chen was shocked by the meaning of the spirit's words. This thing could easily defeat anyone in the heaven realm. He was only at the 5th level. If he dared to take the initiative, he would be torn to pieces. Seeing Yang Chen was still standing there, the spirit urged him, You idiot. That thing is corrupted, attack quickly. I'll risk it. Yang Chen decided the spirit wouldn't harm him, so he decided to follow his instructions. He suddenly activated the sacred true qi in his dantian, compressing it in his palm, and creating a ball of red and white flame. Bro, Jianwuk panicked. What's going on? Are you crazy? Even heaven realm cultivators wouldn't dare to challenge that thing hidden, yet you are attacking it. Are you trying to die? Jianwuk was then stunned by what happened next. He saw the ball of flame hit the black spirit, which screamed in fear. The initially solid figure of the black spirit began to dissipate rapidly. What was more bizarre was that after the flame touched the black spirit, it started to burn rapidly. In the blink of an eye, the black spirit vanished without a trace. Jianwuk was dumbfounded and Yang Chen was left speechless. Did I just do that? Did I kill a heaven realm ancient spirit? When did sacred true qi become so strong? Although Yang Chen knew that sacred true qi was effective against energy beings, he did not expect it to be so powerful. Idiot, what are you waiting for? Quickly take the trash inside. The spirit said to Yang Chen. Yes. Yang Chen quickly went into the cave. Jianwuk found a small, black, bone slip on the floor. Little Wuk, take a look at this. What is it? Yang Chen asked. It was a rare bone slip. According to Yang Chen's knowledge, most techniques and secret arts were recorded on bone slips. Even the techniques of the Eastern Heaven sect were recorded on them. Ancient slips, on the other hand, were even more valuable, as their material came from rare beasts. Yang Chen guessed the black ancient slip contained a technique or secret art at least at the earth level. He thought he had struck gold. However, after Jianwuk examined the ancient slip, his expression changed. There was no excitement in his eyes. He looked surprised and somewhat delighted. Little Wuk, tell me, what is it? Yang Chen was starting to get worried. It's the 5 poison ruler. A defensive technique. Jianwuk gave the slip to Yang Chen. Yang Chen was speechless. Are you kidding me? A Xian grade weapon. You're getting this excited over a Xian grade weapon. The main thing was that the 5 poison ruler was useless to Yang Chen or Jianwuk, who wouldn't even consider dark magic. Generally speaking, poisonous weapons would cause self-harm, and Yang Chen wouldn't turn himself into a poisonous person. Disappointed, Yang Chen took the black slip with a disgusted look and said, Little Wuk, you keep it. Well, find a place to sell it later. Following the spirit's guidance, Yang Chen went through several caves but was met with disappointment. Either the treasures were useless to him and Jianwuk, or were useless Xian artifacts. Yang Chen realized that the first level of the ancient battlefield only had low-level treasure. No wonder the spirit called them trash. Yang Chen then lost interest and ventured towards the depths of the spirit path. Soon, Yang Chen saw the guards. They both had unpleasant expressions. They were at the last cave of the spirit path. A red spirit was blocking the cave, its low roars could be heard. Yang Chen slowly approached. He noticed that the cave where the guards were had something good. The guard, looking unhappy, saw Yang Chen and Jianwuk and said, Why are you two here so quickly? Yang Chen replied politely, Senior, these caves are filled with powerful spirits. With our weak strength, it's best not to meddle with them. The guard didn't bother with Yang Chen and looked at the spirit instead. Ancestor, Our Lady is the princess of the ancient kingdom, the next ruler. Shouldn't she have the right to enter this cave? The guard suppressed his anger and said, The legacy of the ancient kingdom will never be broken. I have faith that our kingdom will return to its glory. The fiery spirit just snorted. You don't know anything. You're still too young. There are many things you haven't seen. Just be a fool. You'll suffer in despair. The smart guard noticed that something was strange about the spirit's words. As if realizing that he had said too much, the fiery spirit got annoyed. Go. All of you. Just go. The guard was disappointed. It seemed the only cave with the ancient kingdom's treasures was the one in front of him, but they have failed to obtain them for many years. The spirit was too difficult to deal with. When the guard was having trouble, Yang Chen stepped forward and whispered, "Princess, may I ask, if there are something important inside? Is there something that you absolutely must obtain?" The impatient guard was startled. The other guard stopped him and looked at Yang Chen. "So what if there is?" "So what if there isn't? He. Yang Chen chuckled. "Princess, if there is something your kingdom needs inside, as a mercenary, I can help. But if it's nothing too important, then ignore what I said." The guard looked at Yang Chen, then at Jian Wok. He was increasingly shocked. He noticed that his spirit sense disappeared as it touched Yang Chen. It was as if his spirit sense was being swallowed by some invisible force. This was bizarre. "What the heck?" the guard said, confused. He had never seen anything like this. His spiritual sense was so strong that even old powerhouses of the heaven realm couldn't compare to him. He had just wanted to see Yang Chen's background, but his spiritual sense had disappeared before it could reach Yang Chen. Moreover, even though Yang Chen was weak, he was confident and unfazed. "What is he? What is that?" After a moment of hesitation, the guard asked in an uncertain tone, "Do you have a way to convince the spirit?" Yang Chen shook his head. Against these demonized monsters, he wouldn't waste words. "It's all futile." The demon sneered. "Little brat, you can't even subdue my flames, yet you dare talk big." Hu Sanson didn't speak, but clearly felt the same. She looked at Yang Chen with confusion. Yang Chen shook his finger and said, "You don't need to persuade the flame spirit to get the item inside." Hu Sanson was stunned and asked, "If you don't persuade the flame spirit, do you have some other method?" Of course, Yang Chen's tone was very confident. The flame spirit, hearing Yang Chen's words, was very amused. "This is hilarious. A mere ant can't even defeat me, yet he dares to talk big." Under the bewildered gazes of Hu Sanson and the demon, Yang Chen boldly stood before the flame spirit. "Ha!" The flame spirit let out a cold laugh. "Let's see what this kid can do." Instantly, a white, holy-looking aura surged from Yang Chen's body, solidifying in his palm. In a few breaths, it condensed into an eye, a white eye. The moment the white eye appeared, the flame spirit felt a strong sense of crisis, as if a natural enemy had appeared. Before the flame spirit could react, Yang Chen sent the white eye hurtling towards it. The flame spirit, writhing in chaotic flames, let out a miserable shriek. Hu Sanson and the demon were dumbfounded. They could clearly sense the flame spirit's aura rapidly weakening. Even the flame spirit's form was becoming unstable. "What's happening? That kid's white aura is strange. He's just a body-tempering cultivator. Even if his fire-type energy is powerful, it shouldn't threaten the flame spirit." "That's a flame spirit. Go in and get the stuff." Yang Chen snapped, looking at the dumbfounded Hu Sanson and demon. The demon came to his senses and quickly dragged Hu Sanson into the cave. Yang Chen, unable to help himself, touched the hidden space within his chest and asked, "Old Rong, is my sacred flame chi really that powerful?" Old Rong chuckled. "Of course, master. The sacred flame chi is amazing." "What?" "The sacred flame chi does have power, but it shouldn't be able to affect a monster like that." "What?" Yang Chen was confused. It was clearly his sacred flame chi that destroyed the flame spirit. Why say it had nothing to do with the sacred flame chi? Without Yang Chen asking, Old Rong explained, "Little brat, do you know what feeds fire is?" Yang Chen was puzzled. Why is Old Rong asking such a childish question? He, Old Rong chuckled. Those so-called spirits are just contaminated with chaos energy. They're not true energy, but your sacred flame chi has a trace of the origin flame. The origin flame ignited chaos and gave birth to existence, creating various worlds and all living beings. Therefore, to the origin flame, chaos energy is the best fuel. Yang Chen was stunned. So that's why I felt something strange the moment I entered the ancient battlefield. So these so-called ancient spirits are contaminated with chaos energy. With Old Rong's explanation, Yang Chen understood. It really had nothing to do with sacred flame chi. Sacred flame chi, no matter how powerful, couldn't deal with a spirit that was practically immortal. You have to know, these spirits are contaminated with a trace of chaos energy. They are the greatest enemy of all normal life. The meaning of chaos is destruction. Yang Chen connected the dots. He was certain that deep within this ancient battlefield, there must be something related to chaos. Otherwise, the elites of the Luofu ancient kingdom wouldn't have all been wiped out. Most cultivators had little resistance to chaos energy. No wonder those elites of the Luofu ancient kingdom couldn't rest in peace, their souls were corrupted by the chaos energy. No wonder these spirits don't give face to the descendants. They must be gathering power for a greater plot, because where chaos exists, there is destruction. Luckily, I coincidentally grasped the origin flame. Otherwise, the Dongchuan secret realm might unleash something terrifying in the near future. If that happens, not only the Dongchuan secret realm, but the entire Dongchuan region might be in danger. Yang Chen's thoughts were turning dark. Old Rong chuckled lightly, Master, find the source of chaos here and destroy it. This is your destiny. This is the first step for you as a guardian. No one can help you, not even me. Suddenly, a sense of determination arose in Yang Chen. The existence of chaos was his enemy, and he would not rest until it was destroyed. In a short while, Husanson and the demon rushed out of the cave with joy, but when they realized the flame spirit that was guarding the entrance was gone, they asked in surprise, Hey, Yang Chen, your aura is so faint. The demon was almost scared to death. Such a terrifying flame spirit was gone. Just by a single eye from that kid. If he hadn't seen it, he would have thought it was a joke. Despite that, Husanson and the demon were still cautious. Husanson, now a little calmer, looked at Yang Chen and asked, What exactly are you two? At this moment, Husanson was suspicious. These two were clearly not ordinary cultivators. They must have an agenda in entering this ancient battlefield. Yang Chen felt that Husanson was only interesting at first glance, and then just average. He casually said, We're just like other adventurers, here to look for opportunities. Is that so? Husanson was skeptical. They control a power that can completely suppress spirits, yet they didn't take anything from the other caves, and instead, came here. What are they planning? Unlike Husanson, the demon was very excited, and said, I remember you're called Yang Chen. My friend, when you go to the third level, can you help us get a very important treasure? As if afraid Yang Chen wouldn't agree, the demon seriously said, As long as you help us, we will fulfill any request within the scope of our kingdom's ability. We will do our best, and if we can't, we will find a way. With the demon saying this, Husanson didn't care about questioning Yang Chen's origins anymore. All she could think about was the Grand Tao scripture. If she could bring back the Grand Tao scripture this time, the significance to the Luofu ancient kingdom would be too great. Husanson said to Yang Chen with a look of expectation, Please, Yang Chen. Seeing the woman beg to this extent, Yang Chen naturally wouldn't refuse. Besides, he also had to go to the third level to find the source of the chaos energy. Helping them get a treasure was just a matter of convenience, and he could also get a big favor. It was a win-win situation. Alright, Yang Chen said indifferently. With Yang Chen's agreement, the demon was very excited and said, Your Highness, let's not wait for them and go down first. Let's go. Husanson was eager. So, Husanson, the demon, along with Yang Chen and Jian Wok, hurriedly went to the entrance of the second level. This was a downward sloping passage. After going down for a while, Yang Chen saw a dark green passage below. The second level of the ancient battlefield. Husanson and the demon were in a hurry, but Yang Chen kept looking at the animals on either side of the spirit path with interest. They could only stop helplessly. Since I didn't get anything good on the first level, I can't leave empty-handed. Yang Chen said, Your Highness, you should have information about the ancient battlefield. Can you introduce the second level? Which caves have valuable treasures or inheritances? Seeing the hint of suspicion in Yang Chen's eyes, Husanson had no choice but to tell the truth. She said, Yang Chen, actually, all the inheritances and treasures within the 3 levels of the ancient battlefield were left by our ancestors. Most are weapons, and they are very restrictive. You have to cultivate our kingdom's Grand Tao scripture to use them. As for treasures, the only valuable one on the second level is a Xian-grade high-quality axe. Staring into Husanson's eyes, Yang Chen realized she wasn't lying and was immediately relieved. In other words, even if I get the weapons in the ancient battlefield, they'll be useless. No wonder the Luofu ancient kingdom is so generous, opening this place to outsiders for a ticket fee of 2,000 spirit stones. It was basically a scam. Yang Chen was certain that hardly anyone who came here could earn back their ticket price. Forget it. After thinking for a bit, Yang Chen said, Let's go get the axe. Even if it's a Xian-grade weapon, it can sell for a good price. After calculating his gains, Yang Chen thought, I'm willing to let you take the lead. After Husanson led them to a cave halfway through the spirit path, Yang Chen easily defeated the guarding spirit and took the Xian-grade axe. At least this trip wasn't a waste. The 4 of them were at the entrance of the second level when the demon suddenly stopped. As if remembering something, a look of fear appeared on his face. He said to Yang Chen, You two should be careful. The ancient spirits on the 3rd level are not confined to guarding caves. They roam freely. Yang Chen was surprised, not because of what the demon said, but because of old Rong's warning. Old Rong told him that on the third level, there might be a real chaos monster, even if it was just a remnant of it. A chaos monster is terrifying. Yang Chen knew that his sacred flame chi with a trace of the origin flame wouldn't work. He had to use the fire seed of the origin flame, but Yang Chen was worried. Although the fire seed of the origin flame was within his body, he couldn't control it. There were many reasons. Yang Chen's cultivation level was too low, and the fire seed had not evolved. But the real reason was that he was not the true owner of the fire seed. He needed a special contract or power. Even Old Rong wasn't sure. He was just guessing that there should be a power that was connected to both of them. This is troublesome. He wasn't familiar with contracts. He never even considered it. The fire seed of the origin flame is my core now. How could I not be able to control it? Even if Old Rong guessed the problem, there was nothing he could do. He wasn't a true guardian of the void with a complete inheritance. He had just obtained the fire seed of the origin flame by chance. As they were going down to the third level, Yang Chen asked, Old Rong, are you sure there's a chaos monster on the third level? With his experience, Old Rong was certain based on the first two levels. He said, I'm pretty sure. I just don't know what level the chaos monster is. If it's a Xian grade monster, even a remnant of it would be terrifying. Xian grade monster. Yang Chen was hearing this for the first time, so he asked, Old Rong, do chaos monsters have different grades? Of course, Old Rong sighed. This is common knowledge in the void, yet you know nothing. He had to explain, Master, chaos monsters are divided into 3 ranks. Upper-level chaos monsters have absolute power over lower-level ones. It has nothing to do with combat power. As if remembering something, Old Rong added, usually, chaos monsters have 4 levels from high to low. Chaos Heavenly Demon, Chaos Earthly Demon, Chaos Xian Demon, Chaos Yellow Demon. A Chaos Yellow Demon remnant can easily destroy a small world. The power of a chaos monster cannot be compared to ours. As long as chaos energy exists, they are practically immortal. Yang Chen gasped. He hadn't expected chaos monsters to be so terrifying. Even though I have a trace of the origin flame, making me a void guardian, the void is still too far away. Who knew I would actually encounter a chaos monster in the Dongchuan secret realm? Perhaps this is fate. It's the fate that the origin flame brought me. There's no escaping it. Soon, they arrived at the third level. The dark green glow was even more intense. The moment Yang Chen stepped onto the third level, he felt a strange unease. The endless spirit path was filled with countless powerful spirits. There were black, red, green, orange, but no blue spirits. As soon as Yang Chen, Jianwak, Husansen, and the demon entered the third level of the ancient battlefield, the entrance to the upper levels of the ancient battlefield opened. Cultivators led by Xing Jiwen from the 7 great heavens entered. Some of them weren't first-timers. They all had some understanding of the ancient battlefield. Unlike most people, Xing Jiwen and his companions didn't stay on the first level. They followed the spirit path, heading straight for the entrance to the second level. On the second level, Xing Jiwen saw the royal guards of the ancient kingdom. He immediately stopped and asked, "Where is your princess?" The royal guard leader became vigilant. "I don't know why you're looking for our princess." As if not wanting to say more, Xing Jiwen ignored the guards and continued down the spirit path. Seeing the situation was getting worse, the royal guard leader quickly shouted. He gathered all the royal guards, even those fighting with the guardian spirits, and followed Xing Jiwen. They were afraid Xing Jiwen was after Husansen. At this time, Husansen was excitedly telling Yang Chen, the thing I need is at the very end, in the last cave. If you can help us, we will repay you handsomely. Yang Chen's mind was filled with thoughts of the chaos monster. He didn't care about Husansen's treasure. Even if it was just a remnant of the chaos monster, it had to be on the third level. Helping Husansen didn't conflict with that, it was just a matter of convenience. "Let's go," Yang Chen said, taking the lead down the spirit path. The moment Yang Chen stepped onto the path, the spirits that were wandering aimlessly all looked over. Instantly, the ancient spirits let out a sharp screech, as if they were being summoned. They all locked onto Yang Chen and charged toward him. If anyone looked closely, they would notice that these ancient spirits were different from the guardian spirits of the first and second levels. Their eyes emitted a green glow, a strange green glow. Yang Chen's scalp was tingling. He felt terrible, facing so many powerful ancient spirits. Husansen and the demon were stunned. Why were these ancient spirits charging towards them? Were they going to attack? They were all ancestors of their kingdom. They shouldn't attack them on their own initiative, unless they were extremely angered. Why was this happening? Old Rong suddenly said, "Master, it seems I was right. There really is a chaos monster here." These so-called ancient spirits were all his puppets, his ears, and eyes. They were all tools for gathering chaos energy. "Old Rong, what do we do?" Yang Chen was clueless, he was just a mere 5 souls cultivator. These completely demonic ancient spirits were not easy to deal with. Their strength was far beyond those at the peak of the innate and ninth level. His pure chi was ineffective against these truly demonic spirits. Retreat back to the path. Old Rong said. Yang Chen didn't hesitate, immediately turning and fleeing with Pu Shanshan and Shen Momo. They quickly disappeared into the depths of the corridor. Shen Momo saw the two big men running away and said to Pu Shanshan, "Your Highness, retreat first, he'll cover you." Pu Shanshan's response was quick. She immediately retreated towards the cloud. Surprisingly, as Yang Chen and others left the spirit area and entered the corridor, the rampaging ancient spirits stopped. Like lost souls, they seemed to lose their targets and the green light in their eyes faded. The ancient spirits weren't chasing, but Pu Shanshan and Shen Momo were still scared. Yang Chen understood the reason, but couldn't explain it. Even if he did, Pu Shanshan and Shen Momo wouldn't understand what chaotic beings were. Jianwuk seemed to have a guess, but was far from the truth. Just as everyone was at a loss, footsteps came from above. A moment later, Yang Chen was stunned. Xing Jiwen, who saw Yang Chen, was also surprised. He had almost forgotten about this kid. He never thought he'd see him here, and together with Pu Shanshan. "You little rascal." Xing Jiwen didn't care about Yang Chen's background, and immediately mobilized his chi. Shen Momo quickly stepped in front of Yang Chen to block him. "Young Master Wen, why are you attacking our kingdom's guests?" Xing Jiwen was furious. It turned out that this kid wasn't from the ROF kingdom, just a small fry from a third-rate force. He must be tired of living, daring to offend me. It was understandable why Xing Jiwen thought so. Most of the guests of the ancient kingdom were cultivators from third-rate forces. "Old man, get out of the way." Xing Jiwen yelled at Shen Momo. "This kid and I have a big feud. Is your kingdom going to get involved?" Shen Momo's expression darkened, but because of the other party's status, he had to restrain himself. Pu Shanshan was annoyed. Yang Chen couldn't get hurt. It was important to her plan of acquiring the Great Tao Sutra. It was also related to the status of the kingdom. But offending Xing Jiwen would also be a big problem. After a moment of thought, Pu Shanshan said in a soft tone, "Young Master One, calm down. Yang Chen is a guest of our kingdom. We must protect him, otherwise, who will want to be our guest in the future?" Her words were reasonable, but Xing Jiwen didn't believe it. He didn't think they'd offend him for some nobody from a third-rate force. But the kingdom was being so protective, there must be something fishy. Xing Jiwen was curious. Back at the Dragon Vein Godly technique, he felt this kid was weird. He never thought he would be the same at the battlefield. He was almost sure this kid had mastered a secret, and the queen needed to get some important treasure on this third level. Maybe it was the Great Tao Sutra. Thinking about the Great Tao Sutra, Xing Jiwen was tempted. It was said to be from an ancient immortal. It seemed only the Water Mirror Academy had such abilities. If he could take the Great Tao Sutra, it would be a huge benefit. It might help him stand out in the competition for the Sword Seed. Thinking up to this point, Xing Jiwen suppressed his anger and said, "Is your kingdom really going to be my enemy for this kid?" Pu Shanshan laughed, seeing that Xing Jiwen's anger had subsided. "Young Master One, you are joking. Our kingdom wouldn't dare to offend you. There must be some misunderstanding. I'm willing to mediate for both sides, and even compensate you." Hearing this, Xing Jiwen was even more certain of his guess and felt uneasy. "Alright, they'll give the queen some face, but I have a request. This kid can't leave my sight." "Okay," Pu Shanshan said, putting on a brave face. Now it was Yang Chen's turn to be confused. "What are you guys doing?" It was as if he had no say in this. They had already made a decision. It was ridiculous. Yang Chen was furious, but thinking about the bigger picture, he had to endure it. Right now, the most important thing was to deal with the chaotic beings. It was good to let these guys test the waters. Jianhua couldn't hold back and was about to step forward, but Yang Chen stopped him with a look. The tense situation had eased. Pu Shanshan, thinking of the rampaging ancient spirits, pretended to be nonchalant and said, "Young Master Wen, why don't we join forces and explore the third level?" "That sounds good." Xing Jiwen agreed immediately. And so, the force was strengthened once again. Looking at the deep green path of ancient spirits, Pu Shanshan began her scheme. "Young Master Wen, our goal is at the end of the spirit path. There are no good inheritances outside this area." "All right." Xing Jiwen could barely wait, waving his hand and sending his three subordinates onto the spirit path. Then, Pu Shanshan, Shen Momo, Yang Chen and Jianwuk also stepped forward. Xing Jiwen and his group were able to move freely on the spirit path. The demonic spirits on the path didn't target them at all. Why was that? Why did the demonic spirits attack them when they first stepped on the spirit path? Pu Shanshan and Shen Momo carefully stepped on the path. "It's okay," they said after a moment. "The demonic spirits aren't reacting." Pu Shanshan even tried moving forward, still with no reaction. Yang Chen smiled. He knew the reason. Only he had the aura of the original fire on him. The original fire was the nemesis of chaotic beings. The chaotic beings wouldn't just stop at sensing the aura of the original fire. Yang Chen told Jian Wuk, "Little Wuk, things will get dangerous soon. The moment I step on the spirit path, you need to retreat immediately. It's best if you stay outside." Hearing about the danger, Jian Wuk immediately refused. What kind of joke is that? If you're in danger, how can I run? We brothers need to stick together. Seeing Jian Wuk being stubborn, Yang Chen had a headache. You have to listen to me this time. You don't know my abilities. It'll be fine. Even if it's dangerous, I'll make sure he'll come back safely. After much persuasion, Jian Wuk finally agreed. But you have to be careful. If anything goes wrong, well, retreat. We're young, we have plenty of time. After watching Jian Wuk retreat, Yang Chen turned around. At the same time, Pu Shanshan and the others had already been walking on the spirit path for a while. She turned to Yang Chen and said, "Yang Chen, come over here, the ancient spirits have returned to normal." Yang Chen pretended to be hesitant, which made Xing Jiwen despise him even more. He still didn't believe that this kid had anything special. Xian Momo, seeming to have guessed Yang Chen's intentions, said, "Yang Chen, don't be afraid, we'll protect you, come over here." Protect me. Save it, Yang Chen thought. Yang Chen didn't believe that Qian Momo would care about him at the crucial moment. Once the demonic spirits went berserk, no one could be sure of surviving. After hesitating for a moment, Yang Chen suddenly activated his energy and sped up. He flashed behind Qian Momo the moment he stepped on the spirit path, pretending to be scared. Suddenly, the demonic spirits on and around the spirit path all let out eerie howls, and the eyes of the powerful demonic spirits flashed with green light. They stared at Yang Chen and started to charge frantically. Why is it like this again? Pu Shanshan panicked. Qian Momo was also extremely shocked. Xing Jiwen and his 3 disciples quickly drew their swords. Yang Chen pretended to be frightened. "Quick, we need to charge through." Xing Jiwen, despite being annoyed at Yang Chen, quickly drew his sword. "Don't let them get close, let's kill them." After saying that, Xing Jiwen unleashed a white aura. The white chi formed a sword. He swung it, and a white blade shot out, with a sharp aura. The aura seemed powerful enough to split mountains. Xing Jiwen's 3 disciples also unleashed their own sword techniques. Their techniques were indeed powerful. Xing Jiwen's sword easily cut down the demonic spirits at the front. Too easy. Ha ha ha. Xing Jiwen laughed. He had thought the spirits in the battlefield were strong, but they turned out to be so weak. They were just strong in their aura and nothing else. They were not even comparable to those at the 9th level of the Sky Realm. Xing Jiwen turned to Pu Shanshan and Chen Momo and noticed they didn't look excited. He was confused. What an idiot. Yang Chen sighed inwardly, worried about Xing Jiwen's IQ. Such a simple thing. Did this guy think the world revolved around him, just because he was from the Xing family? He was from a noble family, but he didn't even know the basics about energy beings. Even if he didn't know about energy beings, if the spirits in the battlefield were this easy to deal with, would they still be around? Xing Jiwen laughed loudly. He realized the demonic spirit he just cut in half, had reunited and seemed unharmed. Damn it! Xing Jiwen cursed. Thinking about how proud he was and the look on Pu Shanshan's face, he felt like his previous strike was like a child playing house. Xing Jiwen roared, unleashing white light around him. A huge white sword appeared behind him. This was Xing Jiwen's divine war image. It seemed Xing Jiwen was truly angry. He was angry at himself, and even unleashed his war image. For cultivators at their level, they rarely reveal their war image, even during friendly sparrings. Their war image wasn't the same as the newly formed war images of cultivators in the 5 main cultivation realms. A cultivator at Xing Jiwen's level, peak of the Sky Realm, was ready to enter the Purple Palace realm at any time. Their war image had evolved at least once, and they contained their strongest ultimate moves. They would usually not be revealed unless they were in a crisis. Xing Jiwen wasn't thinking straight, he just wanted to get rid of the demonic spirits in front of him. The huge sword behind Xing Jiwen started to vibrate, and 100 silver-white sword beams shot out. They formed a strange formation and headed towards the demonic spirits. What? Yang Chen was stunned. He had never seen anything like this. Yang Chen was certain that the technique Xing Jiwen used was an extremely rare advanced skill, probably at the middle or high grade of the Earth realm. But Yang Chen wasn't envious. He wasn't lacking in techniques, but his main sword skill wasn't up to par. After all, Yang Chen had been a sword cultivator for a short time. Many sword cultivators go for powerful swords or techniques, but that was a naive way of thinking. The truly powerful sword cultivators were not their swords, but the cultivators themselves. The true power lied in the strength of the cultivator. As long as the cultivator was strong enough, anything he held was powerful. Even compressed chi could form swords and techniques. Yang Chen had read about greatsword cultivators and they all had one thing in common, simplicity. It seemed the simpler the sword skill, the higher the level of the user. Regarding this point, Yang Chen wasn't yet sure. While Yang Chen was thinking, Xing Jiwen's 100 sword beams were truly terrifying. They cut the demonic spirits into countless pieces. They should be dead now. Even Pu Shanshan and Chen Momo were hopeful. They hoped that this powerful attack would kill the demonic spirits. They should be dead, Yang Chen also said in a low voice. He couldn't help but assess Xing Jiwen's power. Right now, he was nothing compared to Xing Jiwen. They were not on the same level. Old Roan said coldly, "Don't get your hopes up." Yang Chen was confused and asked, "Old Roan, the demonic spirits aren't dead. What do you think?" Old Roan chuckled. If chaotic beings were so easy to deal with, would they still be the nemesis of all sentient beings? The monsters you see, they are not even the lowest level of chaotic beings, but they have chaotic energy. Normal power won't affect chaotic energy. As if to prove Old Roan's words, the demonic spirits in front of them reformed. The parts that were shattered by Xing Jiwen's attacks had rejoined, and with the help of a mysterious black aura, they were reformed. In a blink of an eye, the demonic spirits were back to normal, but it was clear that their size and aura were greater. No way. Xing Jiwen and his 3 disciples were stunned. They can't be killed. What kind of ancient spirits are these? They're like immortal monsters. While they were stunned, the demonic spirits charged at them. The situation was extremely dangerous. They looked like they could crush Yang Chen and the others into meat paste. Xing Jiwen realized that these spirits were much harder to deal with than he thought. He finally remembered what Yang Chen said earlier. Charge through them. We need to charge through. These spirits are strange but have no brains, let's get rid of them. They charged forward successfully, leaving the demonic spirits behind. But trouble was brewing. If they stayed at the entrance, it would be okay. But Yang Chen and his group had gone deep into the 3rd level and had drawn out all the ancient spirits. Even the guardian spirits protecting the caves had come out. The situation was critical. At this rate, they might not be able to get out of here alive. They had to keep charging. Along the spirit path, Yang Chen and the others charged forward. Quick! Their speed was very fast, leaving the rampaging demonic spirits behind. But a very serious problem was facing Yang Chen and the others. So what if Song Ran reached the deepest part of the 3rd level? In fact, Pu Shanshan and Qian Momo already knew the terrain of the 3rd level's depths. It was also a huge pit. Did they have to jump into it? What's more, the current ruler of the Luofu kingdom, his own mother, had repeatedly warned him before he entered the Dongchuan secret realm. Never go near the ancient battlefield or the depths of the 3rd level. Soon after, Yang Chen and the others arrived at the deepest part of the 3rd level, stopping at a huge pit. The dark green mist and pure black mist in the pit mingled together, making it even more chilling and profound. It was as if, as long as you looked down into the pit, you would feel a chill down your spine. What great terror existed below. Behind them, the rampaging spirits had already broken through. What should they do? Pu Shanshan and Qian Momo weren't even looking at the pit, but rather at a huge cave to the side. The cave was empty, as if there were no evil spirits. But Pu Shanshan knew that the most powerful evil spirit in the entire ancient battlefield was sleeping inside this cave. The 2nd volume of the Diluo Dao Jing was also likely there. In this urgent situation, Pu Shanshan was about to speak, wanting Yang Chen to help him obtain the Diluo Dao Jing as quickly as possible. But before he could even speak, Pu Shanshan was stunned. He saw Yang Chen, who was rooted in place, with a faint red flame appearing on his body, somewhat resembling ancient leaves. Yang Chen was completely unaware of his surroundings, not even hearing Rong Lao's urgent calls. His entire consciousness was locked within his soul sea. In his soul sea, Yang Chen's intangible soul force was rapidly gathering. Soul force is transforming. Sadly, Rong Lao didn't know what was happening in Yang Chen's soul sea, or he would have been shocked. Soul force transformation was a requirement for achieving a certain realm. That realm was too far away for the current Yang Chen, but he was using the power to transform his soul force. At the center of Yang Chen's soul sea, the original Doqian Pearl moved aside. His soul force began to take shape. In an instant, his soul force transformed. The red soul force became a tiny flame. It was as if anyone who wasn't careful and blew on it, this little flame would go out. Just as this flame-like soul force appeared, a mysterious ancient aura emerged within the soul sea. The origin fire comes from chaos, uses chaos as its core, but gives birth to life. I can only forget myself, guarding the order, for the order. Yang Chen's consciousness was muddled, and he could vaguely sense the tiny flame shaking. The origin fire comes from chaos, uses chaos as its core, but gives birth to life. I can only let you thank me, the boundless fire, guarding the order, for the order. In an instant, it was as if a connection was made in endless nothingness, with the current Yang Chen. A power with an ancient aura merged into his flame-like soul force. The soul force grew at a visible speed. A faint trace of ink-like darkness appeared within the crimson flame. Yang Chen, who didn't know what was happening, woke up from his trance. He felt like something had changed from the very root of his soul. He realized that the Dotian pearl was no longer in the center of his soul sea, but a scarlet flame. Was this his soul force? A quick perception revealed its power. He was shocked by the vast amount of energy within the flame. Why did my soul force suddenly change from intangible to this form? Why does it have so much unfamiliar information? Forcing himself to calm down, Yang Chen slightly analyzed the information within his flame-like soul force and gained some understanding. But, all of this happened because of this original fire. He also learned many secrets. The origin fire that Ron Lao spoke of was his own soul origin fire, the origin of all. It was born from endless chaos, and could be said to be the essence of chaos. But the essence of chaos was disorder, destruction. The moment the origin fire was born, it represented life. The life that controlled the origin fire was not a guardian of the void, but a guardian of order. The complete opposite of chaotic demons. The origin fire also absorbed chaotic energy to grow and gain some abilities that Yang Chen didn't understand yet, but the information mentioned that it seemed that this power could be used on all things, the basis of all life. Yang Chen vaguely guessed that he had completed a specific task earlier. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to sense this core origin fire. It was as if the origin fire was a part of his body. However, the origin fire needed a large amount of chaotic energy to grow. There was too much information. After sensing some of the basic parts, Yang Chen stopped thinking about it. He had to focus on the present crisis. Seeing Yang Chen seemingly dumbfounded, Pu Shanshan quietly asked, "What's wrong?" Pu Shanshan gestured to Qin Momo to wait and said to Yang Chen, "Now it's your turn to keep your promise. Help me retrieve a white stone slab from that cave." After saying that, Pu Shanshan gestured the size of the stone slab. "Okay." But Yang Chen was a little stunned. When had he agreed to get some white slab from the cave? Wait. I didn't agree. As Yang Chen was about to retort, he looked into the pit, and was immediately shocked. He clearly remembered that the green mist was the result of the spiritual energy in this place being contaminated by chaotic energy. And those black threads, those were true chaos. He remembered clearly before that there was nothing in the pit. He couldn't even see the bottom. But now, his vision could easily pierce through the layers of green and black mist to clearly see the bottom. At the bottom was a black ball-like creature the size of a fist, with black net-like patterns, frantically sucking in the surrounding green and black mist. "It's a false chaos being." Yang Chen exclaimed subconsciously. "It's actually a false chaos being." Yang Chen was shocked. He had only fused with a small portion of the information from his soul fire, yet he had already recognized the creature in the pit. It seemed that he had gained many incredible abilities in his earlier days. What was more incredible was that he knew that a false chaos being was just a low-level form of chaos, and not a true chaos demon. Just like Ron Lao had said before, there were hierarchies within chaos demons, not referring to their power, but to the level of their demon seeds. For example, even if the false chaos being at the bottom of the pit were to grow to a terrifying level, it would still be considered just one of many. But he wouldn't dare be careless even in the presence of a newly born chaos devil. That was the hierarchy, something that was inherently defined. With this, Yang Chen understood. Luckily, it was just a false chaos being that seemed to have recently broken free. If it were a true chaos demon, even the weakest chaos devil, he was afraid things would have been dire. The heart of chaos sustains eternity. Suddenly, Yang Chen spoke, reciting the words in his mind. Strangely, no matter what Yang Chen said, neither Xanjuan, Pu Shanshan, nor Qin Momo could understand a single word. This was because this was the language of the ancient guardians. Whoosh! A crimson flame, shaped like an ancient leaf, appeared on Yang Chen's forehead. Pu Shanshan was surprised. It was one thing for Yang Chen to ignore him, but suddenly using a fire technique. What was he trying to do? Xingjiwan also looked at Yang Chen, thinking, has this kid gone mad? Just as they were about to make a move, they saw Yang Chen shoot out a small, crimson flame. This small flame was flying straight down towards the pit. What is he doing? Pu Shanshan vaguely knew that there was a terrifying power inside the pit. Why was Yang Chen provoking it? Was the current danger not enough? Qin Momo also thought of this and tried to stop him, but it was too late. So everyone turned their eyes to the pit. The small flame met the cold and sinister green and black energy, but instead of being extinguished, it continued to fall and disappeared into the darkness. Only Yang Chen could clearly see what was happening. The flame, or rather, the origin fire, had locked onto the false chaos being at the bottom of the pit. It was as if it was facing death for the first time. The origin fire seemed to be a little nervous. At the same time, Ron Lao, who had been shocked for a long time, finally came back to his senses. Master! Even Yang Chen was unaccustomed to the sound of Rong Lao's voice. It was completely different from before. The voice was excited, with obvious tremor. "Master, how did you?" Rong Lao was confused. He didn't see Yang Chen make any movements, so how did he suddenly gain control of the origin fire? What did this mean? Rong Lao knew very well. It meant that his master, Yang Chen, was already a true guardian of the void. Or rather, a guardian of order. That was a guardian. No matter where they went, they would be respected. They were shrouded in mystery, and were known as the gods of justice, the guardians of all realms. But Rong Lao didn't know that the entire inheritance process happened in Yang Chen's soul sea. Even Yang Chen himself wasn't very clear about it. Suddenly, the entire third level began to tremble. Almost all of the demonic spirits began to surge like a storm towards the pit. The most critical thing was that, not far away, the huge cave started shaking violently. A black, enormous demonic spirit charged out of the cave, heading towards Yang Chen. The gigantic demonic spirit was terrifyingly powerful. The green light that shone from its enormous eyes was bone-chilling. Xin sucked in a breath of cold air. He could feel a power from it that was comparable to that of a strong cultivator at the Zifu level. Even Xin, who was usually arrogant, didn't dare to fight it. He quickly said to his 3 junior brothers, "Quick! Retreat!" In an instant, the 4 of them used a secret technique and transformed into a white beam of light, fleeing far away. Pu Shanshan and Chen Momo were panicked. They didn't have any escape techniques. The only thing they could do was wait. In desperation, Chen Momo shouted, "Shanshan, you run!" "I'll hold it back." Chen Momo was planning to risk his life to buy some time for Pu Shanshan to escape. No one was paying attention to Yang Chen, but Yang Chen was surprisingly calm. He didn't even look at the rapidly approaching demonic spirit, but instead focused all of his attention on the bottom of the pit, on the false chaos being. This time, for some reason, the false chaos being didn't resist as the origin fire landed on its body. In an instant, the origin fire completely incinerated the false chaos being. In just a moment, the false chaos being had been reduced to ashes. The origin fire connected to Yang Chen didn't change much, other than becoming slightly stronger. Damn it! Yang Chen suddenly thought of something. He had finally encountered a chaos demon. He had thought that after destroying it, the origin fire would grow rapidly. It seemed that he had been too optimistic. It would probably take a very long time for the origin fire to grow and leave the form of a small flame. The worst thing is, the origin fire needs to kill chaos demons and absorb chaotic energy to grow. How many of those are there?